What is up, YouTube? DanCT860 here to give you a deck profile of one of the new decks that came out in the Clash of Rebellions, which is the Igknights. I think it's gonna be a pretty good deck for the format. Probably one of the best decks coming out of Clash of Rebellions. Don't know how well it will be against the rest of the meta, because there are ways around it, especially much easier to break than cliff forts are. But if it goes off pretty early, it'll most likely be too late for your opponent to do anything, and eventually you'll win. So that's the thing about this deck. It's really fast, it's really consistent, especially with the 3 magical libraries, which you'll see in the deck. This isn't what I played for at my recent locals, because we were playing ARG format, and apparently I didn't know that Royal Magical Library was illegal for the ARG format, so we play tested under those conditions, and I went 2-3-2 with this deck. It wasn't at all near complete when I played, because I was missing one Templar going into the tournament, but I pulled another one when I went splits with a friend of mine's, Mike Zamiti, a really good player in himself. He's kind of a dick at times, but a very much respectable person. It's just his personality. He's kind of a sarcastic Joker kind of type, but really good guy. So we went splits on a box, and I pulled this, so that was great. So I'm just gonna stop rambling, get into the deck, and explain my card choices and what I actually did play for the tournament. Which you guys will probably not care, because most of you are playing TCG anyways, but that's fine, because I do have the cards for the TCG format. So let's get into it. The Igknight lineup is pretty much standard. You run 3 of the all 3 of the Igknight cards that are available to you. Templar, the Ultra, because he's a beater and a level 4, so that's why they made him Ultra. His counterpart, Paladin. Then 3 Crusaders, the super of the level 3s, which he's just the beater of the level 3s, and that's pretty much it. I guess that's why they made him super, because they all couldn't be commons for some reason. Then Squire, pretty big defender for a level 3. Then the level 5s, Margrave, big defender, and the current counterpart to Gallant. When this deck will get more support in the next set, I think it is, with Uzi, and I don't remember what the level 5 counterpart is, but I've seen people already talking about taking out the level 5 in general and going for the 6 for the Basilar Trice. Honestly, I would probably still play the extra 5s and the extra 6s, just because rank 5s are pretty decent. Volcasaurus is an absolute boss, but the Basilar Trice is really damaging. We'll just have to see what happens and what the ban list brings, especially if they decide to ban the Royal Magical Library, which you play 3 of, because when you go off with this deck and you have this in your starting hand, this will basically eventually is able to deck you out, essentially. So you'll go through your deck, have everything you need for your play, and especially if it's first turn, you can essentially just go through your whole deck. And it just keeps the deck flowing, so you'll have everything what you need for your first turn. And that's why I say by your opponent's turn, it'll probably be too late for them, because by your next turn, you'll probably kill them to bits. This guy is pretty broken. I wish there wasn't so many FTKs and OTKs with this card, just because he's so good in this deck. It's like so sad that I really think it's going to be banned, but we'll just have to adapt. That's it for the Igknight and the Moral Magic Library, focus in there, yeah. I play one hamster. Been thinking of bumping this to 2 just to see it more. But I only play this at 1 because the effect I really care about is this pendulum effect to banish from the pendulum zone to add 2 of the same name that you have face up in your extra deck to add to your hand, so that way you can flow on even more, regenerate cards, and then just activate Igknight's effects to blow them up and add another card and whatnot. But its other effect is not bad, but I kind of just don't want to waste a normal summon, and by the time you're going through your whole deck, you won't have time to use this but for its pendulum effect, because of Royal Magical Library will just go through your deck and you'll eventually draw this anyways. So that's that reason for it being 1. Then I play the 1 Ultimate Baseball Kid. You could choose not to play this. I'm really deciding to take this out because this is not something you want to see in your first hand because it won't help you flow. You rather see your Royal Magical Library in your first hand. This just kind of just like, I don't know why, but this thing just keeps opening in my hand. It was just really bad that I opened this every time. I just didn't want to see this at all. But essentially, it's a great card to get like over towers and do massive damage. Because once it's on the field with 4 other Ignites on the field when you pendulum, it's a 45 beater. But that's it for the monsters. Then for the spells, you play 3 Rhoda, be as consistent as possible. 3 Summoner's Art for the Gallants and the Martyrs. 3 Upstarts because you don't care about giving life points, you just want your Royal Magical Libraries to draw you 1. Then I play 3 Ignition Phoenix because more searching, more power to you. I decided to play the 3 Chicken Game because just more drawing, and the fact that you can draw into your Ignition Phoenixes and go over this, allowing your opponent not to use this at all is pretty good. So there's that. And the last 2 spells, I played a Pot of Riches. Pot of Riches is extremely good for this deck because you go through it so much. Your pendulums go to your grave eventually because of you exceeding and detaching so much, which is another reason why I played the Factory of Mass Production. Just at 1, I felt at 2, it kind of negs you in the long run if you're going off with your libraries. But essentially, it kind of doesn't, because you could just play this, get 2 pendulums, and then activate, and then the library goes off because of those pendulums. So it's not a bad card, especially if you want to keep flowing, or if you're in game 2 and you've already gone through a couple exceeds and you want to go through your deck again. So it's fine. So what I wasn't playing for the tournament, it was the Pot of Avarice and the 3 more Magical Library. I put in 2 what were they called? Armageddon Knights and Blackwing Zephyros. I wasn't playing Key Beetle because it was ruled that the Key Beetle lock would not work, because they also reprinted the wording that it would not work because of the Key Beetle lock. So they made it worded so that they both Ignites would have to be destroyed from your pendulums to actually get the search off. So the Key Beetle lock essentially does not work at all for this deck. So that's pretty saddening, but the Key Beetle lock was a great idea, essentially. But, you know, can't give this deck too much power. That is it for my main deck. For the Pot of Riches, I was actually playing a Regeki, which didn't do too much because you didn't really need to. I mean, you just swarm the field and beat over everything, or exceed into something and get rid of problem cards. But in any case, for the extra deck, I decided to play 1 Rhapsody. Let's see if we can focus here. No focus. Okay, there we go. 1 Rhapsody, 1 Constellar Diamond, 1 Genesis. This is so out of order. 1 Castel, 1 Abyss Dweller, 1 Anarch, 1 Excalibur, 1 Daigusto Emerald, 1 Igknight, 1 Ptolemaeus. Wow, this really is out of order. 1 Durandal, 1 Volcasaurus, 1 Gaia Charger, and 1 Photon Strike Bouncer. And the MVP is Ranganimiad. Number 86 Heroic Champion Ranganimiad is an absolute boss. Getting 5 under this in your first turn, allowing them to not summon any monsters for 2 turns, and this being unaffected by anything, definitely calls for an OTK eventually and winning. So I am going to make some changes in the extra deck because through playtesting I saw that there was no need for a bunch of stuff. The Daigusto Emerald was not needed. It was just in theory it would have been good just in case of Ignites were in your graveyard, you could special summon them, or if too many Ignites were in your graveyard, you shuffle them back, draw 1. But it really isn't needed because Pot of Riches does so much already. What else? The Durandal wasn't really needed because that's not something you really needed to go into. Never went into Ptolemaeus except to bait out something. It was a bait out a Thunder King. The Tyrus did phenomenal. I actually love this card, and I don't know why anybody thought of this. You notice the only 6 I'm playing is the Strike Bouncer. The Strike Bouncer, I never went into it, never went into rank 6 play at all. I don't think it's going to be relevant until the Uzi Igknight comes out. I hope they come out with a different name because Uzi is like just a weird name for that Igknight. But Photon itself is a really good card. But when Uzi comes out, I think it'll be this guy counterparted with a Basilotrice, because at the same time Basilotrice becomes a complete boss alongside with the equivalent of Ranganimiad, being able to not be affected by anything and just get over everything and just destroy fields and whatnot and just wreck shit. So that is it for my extra deck. My side deck, still very much in testing. I play tested very little before the tournaments, but it was a good play test to find out what was good. I put in 2 Retaliating Seas. In the main deck, for a bunch of other stuffs, I was actually maining 2 Flying Seas. No, 2 Maxies in the main deck for extra draw power in place of the Royal Magical Libraries. But yeah, I decided to main those and just side deck this because this is doesn't do much against every single thing. This is good against Shaddolls and pretty decent against Necros. So that's the only reason these are there for, and to search out the other Seas, which I was playing 1 Flying Sea for the Burning Abyss matchup, which I never got the effect to search anything off for this. Because I never drew into this one, so. But on paper, this is a really good card for those type of matches, and I will continue to play it, especially in this type of build. It kind of in this type of deck, it kind of requires something like this. Still in testing, I decided to play P3 Pendulum Impenetrable. This prevents any of your opponent's cards from destroying your pendulums, and it negates it. So, Fire Lake, they tribute 2 monsters to try and Fire Lake you. You activate this. They can't destroy anything, and they tributed 2 monsters. So, yeah, it's pretty good. I really like it against the Fire Lake, so yeah, that. Then I played 3 Wavering Eyes against the Klee matchup. I only placed 1 Klee, and I beat him with the burn effect. which was pretty clutch. But in the root of it all, this is not a very good card unless you're playing very, very conservatively with the build. And of course, with this deck, you want to go balls in OTK. So this, I would not recommend this for side decking at all, because essentially you'll have 2 pendulums and no hand. So when you activate this to destroy their field, sure, you can get an extra Wavering Eyes at the end of it and a pendulum, but if you don't draw into another pendulum, which with this deck you'll probably go through your whole deck and not have any more pendulums in your deck to use, you won't have another pendulum to activate in your pendulum zone to bring out your pendulum monsters, and then these would have been for nothing. So still testing, but with my experience with this, it was just too inconvenient for me, and this might as well be it might just be MSTs at by the end of the day or something. To continue, 3 Imperial Iron Walls, because anything banish heavy decks is just an unfair mechanic in my opinion, even more unfair than pendulums, archetype decks. I don't like Infernoids, I don't like Ritual Beasts. I think they're a very unsporting playstyle. I don't like that concept of milling all your graves to banish, bring out big monsters. I don't like the fact that you banish tagging out fusions. I don't like it at all. I don't like that mechanic at all. I'd never liked GBs because of that, but in hindsight, I did like GBs just because of the artwork and their playability, tagging into the deck and out. But tagging out to the banish and able to play macro and defissure, stuff like that, is just unfair, in my opinion. Royal Decree as the last cards that I'm playing for the side deck, and you'll see that I'm not playing MSTs. This actually is what I use to take care of MSTs in place of MSTs, because traps can really wreck this deck and it's very annoying, and so you need to stop it. If I get my hand on Deco Secas, I'll probably be playing that over this, and probably be main decking a couple. I'm gonna change things around. I'm probably going to be maining Tyrant's Throws in this deck, just because it is a really good card. Yeah, sure, I'm following the hype of Tyrant's Throws because I'm gonna help the price go up for it. But Tyrant's Throws in this deck is a very good card. Expect another deck profile of this deck very soon, updated, more testing to be made, and peace out, YouTube. Let me know what you guys think. Okay, now peace out, YouTube.